updates. These are stories that aren't necessarily from a year ago. They're more recent ones that we've talked about, but they need to be talked about this week because they're exciting. So let's go to the first slide here. Now, look, BCM, I think we talked about maybe in April or May. This is just true cowboy grade. Let's go drill a target out in the middle of nowhere based on some science. Okay. You can see in the upper image there, we are in southwest Utah in the middle of nowhere. That's a truck, by the way out in the bush. And you can see that the terrain out there, it's flat. This is a buried target. There's gravel sitting over this target. In fact, there's a fair bit of gravel. But the geophysics and other indicators that the team here, which these are a lot of very seasoned explorers in this company, most near retirement age, but they know how to find stuff. They have put together enough compelling evidence that there's a porphyry buried under this area, a porphyry copper system. Okay, now in 2018, they had enough money to be dangerous, and they went out and drilled a hole. Now it's shown in kind of a darker green there. It's an 18-1. And they got down, I think, if memory serves, like 200 and something meters or maybe 300 meters, something like that. Okay, and they got through the gravel, which is that top layer, valley fill cover, and they got into altered rocks, in fact, altered porphyritic intrusive rocks. And at the bottom, they started to see stockwork veining with metal, highly anomalous copper and so forth. They still felt they were a bit high in the system. Okay, so unfortunately, they lost the hole, didn't have enough money. But this story was presented to me by a good friend of mine, a geologist. He said, these guys have a compelling story here. They just need some cash to give this a good test. Okay, so the company is now drilling the hole in pink, which is basically right parallel. It's a short distance away, but it's parallel to the initial hole. Now they push this one a bit deeper. It's been a slog. Okay, I'll show you why in a minute. But they are down deeper, and lo and behold, they put out a news release this week that's very encouraging. All right, let's go to the next slide. Why has the drilling been a challenge? Well, that drill is probably older than my grandfather. Okay, drills are hard to find these days. I don't mean to be critical of the guys that operate this drill. I know who they are, and they can get her done. But that is an old drill, and it's had some mechanical problems, I think is the best way to put it. That's impeded their progress. The other thing is they've hit some what we call flowing sands, which are basically fault structures down in the ground that when you hit them, by gummy, they can really bugger up your hole. And so they have to cement the hole to seal off the stuff that's falling in, and then they continue drilling. They pushed and pushed and pushed, but here's what's exciting. Okay, as they've drilled deeper, guess what they're getting into? That top photograph is of what we call, we'll say, philically altered part of a porphyry system. So they that's a bit deeper than the previous hole they drilled. They're starting to see pyrite and chalcopyrite. This is very interesting. In stockwork and blebby mineralization, they're in highly altered rock, and highly altered porphyry, in fact. That's a good sign. Okay, now I'm not saying the entire hole is going to be like this, okay, but they're seeing mineralization, at least to a degree, in the right kind of setting. Now, in a porphyry, you want to get into what we call the potassic zone, the more central part of the system. And down there at the bottom, you can see the core that's literally out of the ground probably within the past couple of days. And they're starting to see K-spar. That should be a P in that word down there, but potassium feldspar veinlets. All right, this is potassic alteration, basically. And this is starting to tell us to get near the core of something. Again, am I telling you this is high grade? No, I'm not, but they're seeing stockwork potassically altered porphyry at depth. Now, let's go to the next slide because I got to put this in context. Okay, the way to think about a porphyry is, there you go, Tommy, another food thing, is like a fried egg, okay? The mothership is the yolk. Yeah, that's what you want to find. But there's a lot of egg white around it. And right now, my best guess, and this is David Lowell's concept, so I'll give full credit to him. It's a very simplistic but very practical way to look at these things. I think they're out there in the yolk in the egg white somewhere, but they have plans to keep drilling and finding the yolk. They do also have plans now that they have a bit of money to do AMT and some other geophysics that might help them try to better target that yolk. But they've done a good job of testing this. They're keeping that hole going. Who knows? Maybe they'll nail something here shortly. I don't know. But my hunch is they'll probably have to drill a few more holes. Exploration seldom find something in the first hole. Like, that's truly exceptional. But as long as they're seeing what we like, they're sticking to the script. I like it.